Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christina Simonson. I am the Associate Director of Employer Relations here in the Career Center. Today, we have a career chat, and we are joined by a two-time John Jay alum, Antonia-Sophia Scholz, who is currently a clinical forensic specialist at Safe Horizon. Antonia is going to talk to you today a little bit about her career journey and how she got to where she is today. And you'll have an opportunity to ask questions at the end of the session. So please pay mind of what she's saying. Write down your questions because you'll have that opportunity to get to speak with her at the end. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Antonia, and you are all set.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'd be happy to share more about my educational journey and career journey and my day-to-day duties at Safe Horizon. I didn't grow up in this country. I was born in Germany, and I went to college in Germany in my 20s, and I was not able to finish that path due to personal circumstances. So I was basically a college dropout. And I came to the United States in my late 20s, basically for a second chance in life and in education, because in Germany, I mean, they have a good educational system. They have a good university system. It's affordable, but it's not meant to be for several chances. So here in the States, it's not unusual to go to college when you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s. And that really isn't a thing in Germany. There's even some age limits, age restrictions when it comes to certain courses. So basically, not following up on my first path, I didn't really see a second chance for me there. So I came to the United States in my late 20s, worked in the performance industry for a couple of years, and then I decided I wanted to go back to college. So I walked into John Jay because I had seen that they offer forensic psychology, which is also a subject that is not offered in my country, at least not so far. And I was fascinated by that, and I wanted to learn more about that. And then at John Jay, they told me I would have to start at community college because my European high school diploma was basically invalid. So I started out at Borough of Manhattan Community College, and I had a great experience. So I think community college has like a certain reputation in the United States, but I wasn't aware of that reputation, and so I went there completely without an agenda. I had a great experience, and then 1 year later, I went back to John Jay to get my bachelor in forensic psychology, which I graduated 2021. And then almost immediately after, I wanted to get my master's degree in forensic mental health counseling. So I did that, and I graduated just at the beginning of this year, 2024. So what got me through this was my mindset, because as a former college dropout, I would say, driven by fear and by motivation, knowing that, okay, I had one chance and I really wanted to use the second chance. And for me, that worked, so that really worked for me. And I worked hard and I didn't procrastinate because, I just wanted to do more with my life than I had before. 1 month after I graduated from John Jay, I was hired by Safe Horizon. So how did I get to Safe Horizon? Well, I was always, even during my studies at John Jay, I was very focused, and I kind of knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to work in the trauma field or in the addiction field. So, and in the forensic field. So those three were kind of the fields that I was interested in, and I only applied for those kind of positions. And I talked to someone at a job fair at John Jay, actually, from Safe Horizon, I think, which really got my foot in the door. And that was interesting because I never believed in anything like that. I was like, well, yeah, job fair, there's like 300 people, there's like 300 agencies there, and it's useless. But I thought, okay, just give it a try. I had applied for internships at Safe Horizon, didn't get an internship, but I did get a job interview, so that was interesting. And yeah, so I started at the beginning of February, and certainly my age, I mean, I'm 41 now. My age and my own life journey prepared me for the work in a trauma-related field in a completely different way. So what I brought was not just textbook knowledge, but also a lot of personal knowledge and a lot of resiliency that I personally needed to even go back to college and to follow through with this path. Yeah, and so at Safe Horizon, I'm a clinical forensic specialist. And so what I do is I have basically I wear three hats. One is I'm being a forensic interviewer, I'm being a victim advocate, and I'm being a mental health counselor. We do short-term trauma therapy with a small client load. So the forensic interviewing part is my personal favorite because I wanted to work in the forensic field, and I think it's more difficult to actually find a job in the forensic field than other jobs that have something to do with mental health counseling. So I was glad to have this opportunity. And so what we do is we are in one physical location with the NYPD, and so that's a Queens Child Abuse Squad, and with CPS. And so what we do is families come in here, children come in here who just made a report, mostly regarding sexual abuse, sometimes physical abuse. And then it's the first time that the child is telling the story. And they carved out that specific position for mental health counselor because there was an idea that police officers, I'm generalizing now, it's also a general idea, but the police is lacking empathy when it comes to interviews like that. And so that's why they had the idea that mental health counselors should do those interviews instead of the police. So the kid comes in here and tells the story of their abuse for the very first time. And that's not easy because I can't be too much of a mental health counselor because I really have to press the kids for the details. Because the more details the kid can provide, the better the opportunity to have a case against the perpetrator. And also, we're not supposed to say perpetrator anymore at Safe Horizon. We're supposed to say person who causes harm. Okay, so but you know, so you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so so what I basically do, I sit in front of the kids and asking, so time, place, occurrence of the abuse. And New York State in particular has one of the strictest laws when it comes to time. So when we don't get a time frame, even though the kid reported in detail the abuse, that might have been even years ago, and the kid might be 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old. If we don't have a time frame, we basically don't have a case. And that's as a mental health counselor and as a person, that's really difficult because I've been in situations where kids sit in front of me crying after 1.5 hours in the interviewing room, and the DAs keep telling me you have to find out what time frame, you have to find out what time frame. And then developmentally or cognitively, even, we know that memory is in a snapshot, not for adults and especially not for kids. So it's almost impossible for them to provide that information on what day and what time they were abused 2 years ago. So that's beyond the scope of this talk, but this is some dysfunctionality, I think, in the system, maybe, or should be a conversation should be held with lawmakers that that something about that is dysfunctional because we're asking something of kids that they can't provide, physically can't. And so moving on to my second role, here is the victim advocate. So the victim advocate basically takes care of the families who come here. Families meaning the non-offending parent, because in the majority of cases, the person who causes harm is in the family. It's either a parent, it's either a sibling, an uncle, and it's very, very rare that the offender is a stranger or a neighbor even. Mostly it's part of the family system. So what we usually see is the offending parents is downstairs with the NYPD, and the non-offending parent is up here with us. And as a victim advocate, I take care of the family. I take care of their concerns. We have talks about what their concerns are. They also get an opportunity to talk to NYPD and CPS. And I also follow up with them. And the third role I play is the trauma counselor. So we offer therapy here. It's called CFTSI, Child and Family Traumatic Stress Intervention. That was developed with Yale, so Yale University and Safe Horizon developed that short-term therapy. And it's focused on, it's very screening heavy, it's very questionnaire heavy. We mental health counselors here have mixed feelings about it, because Yale is very convinced that this is a quick fix. You know, so and to assume that deep trauma is fixed in a short time period, so the sessions are 5 to 8 sessions, is kind of well, it might not actually be the case for every kid, but we offer it here because some intervention, that's what I believe in any case, some intervention is better than no intervention at all. And the intervention really focuses on supporting the parent to support the kid, supporting the communication between parent and kid, helping the kid to express trauma symptoms, verbalize trauma symptoms, and also sometimes try to navigate problems. So what we sometimes see is that the non-offending parent is not able to leave the offending parent. So the offending parent is still living with the kid, and obviously makes it very difficult for the kid to even overcome the trauma, or because it's constantly exposed to the trigger, which is the parent. And so we're trying to, not by making suggestions and also not by telling anyone what to do, but just to find out what makes it difficult to stay, to actually leave the situation, or yeah. So those are my three, those are the three hats I wear. Yeah, so what tools and resources and trainings that I find helpful, or would I have, and how far did John Jay prepare me for this work? So I think John Jay prepared me very well. I think what I'm realizing now that I didn't really understand. Well, you have courses that focus on law and you have courses that focus on psychology, but how are laws actually influencing my work as a mental health counselor? So what I mentioned about the TPO, the time, place, occurrence, for instance, what does that mean for me as a mental health counselor when I have to keep the laws in mind? That means it's shaping my behavior as a mental health counselor. And I wasn't really aware of that too much. Also, I think I feel well prepared when it comes to trauma and trauma knowledge and all of that. What I've been missing a little bit is more understanding about attachment trauma, trauma bonding, love addiction, because as I said before, usually the abuse is part of the dysfunctional family system. Is often intergenerational as well. Sometimes abuse is passed on, and it isn't an isolated incident. It also isn't the case that this is the bad person. If you just like kick the bad person out, then everything will be great. But it is dysfunctional dynamics, and so for my work here, it's it's really important to understand that what I mentioned before, for instance, why isn't a mom not able to cut off ties with the person who sexually abuses her child? Most of the case because of attachment trauma and of trauma bonding. Finances, immigration status, things like that play a role, but usually that's really not the core issue. And that just helps me more to have a broader understanding for the clients. And yeah. So, and that's really something during my courses, I didn't really see that offered too many times, or really the focus on attachment trauma. Yeah, so if you're asking yourself if this job is for you, so this job is intense, and also the work hours are a little bit unusual for mental health counselors. So we have evening shifts that sometimes turn into night shifts. So I work 2 days a week. I work 9 to 5, and on 3 days a week I work 2 to 10. And when a case comes in, let's say at 9:30 or any time before 9:30, I stay till the case till the case is basically not finished, because it's not finished at that point, but till we have covered it. And that could be 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. I mean, it's the same situation that CPS is in, it's the same situation that the NYPD is in, but it's something to know, and it makes it difficult for people who have a family, if you're having kids, especially small kids. So, you know, it's a decision to make. And then when it comes to what emotional resources, I think being able to compartmentalize is essential. So that's something I can do really well for some reason. So I've personally never been in a situation where I thought, okay, and we see really severe abuse on a daily basis, severe physical abuse, severe sexual abuse, but I've never been in a situation where I thought I'm breaking down, or I can't handle this, I have to leave the room. I feel that's yeah, so you got to be able to handle that kind of intensity. And sometimes the kids come in here with visible marks on their faces or in their body, and yeah, because it doesn't help the kid, right? If the kid needs the stability, and it needs to know that you can say anything, they can say anything without me raising my eyebrows or being, oh my God, or anything like that, because they don't get much stability. They don't have much stability themselves, and they don't get much stability at home. So that's something to consider. Yeah, so that's all I had prepared, and I'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions.